Ohio State, also another noon game. I'm sick of these Big Ten noon kickoff, these big noon kickoff games for them. But taking on Penn State, this is a primetime matchup. Why do you not have this game as a night game right now? It's crazy to me. Or even a mid-afternoon game. You on the East Coast. It's not like you playing out on the West Coast. But I tell you, this is an interesting one. From the standpoint of you've got Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State all in the same division in the Big Ten, right? Is Penn State finally ready to join the conversation that Ohio State and Michigan have been in for the last couple of years and being that team that could possibly represent them in the college football playoff? You've got everything still in front of you from Penn State, but this is going to be your biggest test so far this season. You've completely shown up every single week, week in and week out. Nobody has really scored against this defense. This defense is kind of seeming like they're legit and ready to play. The problem with Penn State is the offensive side of the ball. You're very balanced. You like to run, but just like a lot of other teams in the country right now, you don't really create any explosive plays at all. You like to just kind of middle your way down the field and then go get you a score. And you can do that as many times as you want to throughout the games. But at some point in time, you're going to run into a team like Ohio State, who has a competent defense that's going to be able to slow you down, and you're going to be able to have to take your shots when you can get them against them. Now, on the Ohio State side of the ball, I think you've kind of figured out who you were these last couple of weeks if you're Ohio State, starting with that Notre Dame team. This is a more tested Ohio State team than Penn State is right now, in the sense that you've gone on the road and taken on Notre Dame. I know this game is at home, but still, you come up with that adversity in a very low scoring, close game and figured out a way to come out with a win in those games. I think the biggest matchup in this game is actually not going to be the players. I think it's going to be the coaching. I think the coaching right now is the biggest factor in this game. And you've got Ryan Day, who has been in these situations before. He's been in the college football playoffs before. He's not too high on this game. He knows how to get his teams ready. But I think he's going to be able to scheme something up to take this game. I got Ohio State winning it at home. I just don't think Penn State has a lot to offer to combat Ohio State. I understand if you've got your superstars on offense, you can go up and down with them and score, but I think McCord and Henderson and Marvin Harrison Jr., they're gonna show up like they have week in and week out up to this point and really kind of take over this game early. And I think it won't be a super high scoring game. I think the game's gonna end up more so in the maybe 27 to 21 range, maybe even 30 to 21. I'll put them there, but I got Ohio State taking this one.
So Ohio State reminds me a lot of Georgia right now. Slow starts have been an ongoing problem in Columbus. Prior to the Purdue game, the Ohio State offense ranked 96th in first quarter points scored, producing just 2 touchdowns in the first quarter in all the games they played. The Buckeyes were then shut out in the opening quarter in back-to-back games. I do think we have enough of a sample size to say this is a problem in Columbus. Now, a lot of that has to do with the quarterback. He's a first-year starter. But I don't know if I can give the team a pass for that because there's so much talent around him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even Bama, with their offense being as inept as it can be at times, is able to put points up and actually start the game strong at times, right? I think that's going to be a problem in this game. I'm not too sold on Penn State because I really don't think they played anybody yet this season. And for your first real test of the season, coming in as a 6th-ranked team in the country to be in Columbus at the Horseshoe against Ohio State, I don't know if Penn State is going to have enough. But if Ohio State comes out slow, and if Penn State, like you were saying, man, if they're able to move the ball, control the clock, get into the red zone, and manufacture points. They don't have to be touchdowns, I don't think, but then they have to score some touchdowns. But if Ohio State is going to not score in the first quarter, or they're going to end up with 10 points on the board by halftime. If Penn State can actually get up somewhere in the range of 14 points prior to halftime, I think they have a chance to maybe hold on and win this game, maybe. But I do think that Ohio State could be too much talent all the way around. Ohio State has been doing a really good job of making adjustments at halftime, even though they do come up with these slow starts. Second half, they are a second half team. They usually come back and figure out who their identity really is, and they end up, pulling away. I have not seen enough out of Penn State yet. Penn State could be much better than we know. Again, they just hadn't played anybody. If this game was in Happy Valley, if it was a night game, white out, something like that, I may give Penn State some sort of an edge here, but I just don't see any edge that Penn State actually has. Ohio State's just way too much. I think they pull away late, win the game by 14 points, and continue to move on. In the Big Ten with their college football playoff hopes. I still don't think they're going to get there. I think Michigan's going to beat them. I think Michigan is built to beat Ohio State. Not to win the championship, but they are built to beat Ohio State. So Ohio State still has problems, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a problem this week as some are making it out to be.
I think I'm right there with both of y'all. This is right here a game that Ohio State should win. And I say should in a strong way, because I do see a way that Penn State can win this game, Sean. And I think it's through their balance, like Van said. Penn State, to me, is a really good third down team, and they really are good efficiently over when they're trying to move the ball down the field. That's something that can take the win out of Ohio State's sails, because what I've seen from Ohio State the last couple of weeks is that they need that big play to get going. They need that confidence booster to really say, hey, we're going to really win this game because we have so much talent. It's almost like they have to get reminded of who they are in a game. And this right here is the type of game where if Ohio State does start slow, it can get treacherous for them. But I think they're not going to start slow because of the hype of this game. To me, big games like this, I think Ryan Day has his team ready for big games. His win-loss record might always be great in big games, but they usually show up in these type of games. I think they have more of the talented team that has had the experience in this type of game to get the job done. This Penn State team in the past has, still been together, but they've not got the ball done. This is the highest they've been ranked in a long time, in my opinion, that shows can they get it done? But this is their first big test. I don't think that your first big test on the road is something that most teams come out of, especially in the Big 12. Big Ten. So I think this game right here is something that overall Penn State's going to have a big hill to climb in knocking off Ohio State. Ohio State is the overall better team. Can they come into this game and actually prove it? I think it's going to open a lot of people's eyes in the aspect of, yes, they can. And I think this team is real. Can they go out the rest of the season and get the things accomplished, like beat Michigan and win the Big Ten and win, get into the playoffs? I'm going to say no, because that loss always comes so late in the season. That is a big place to lose a game in that one. But a game like this, I think they overall have more to lose in this game. So I think they will come out there and really start swinging early. Marvin Harrison has got to show up as the Heisman contender, as everybody talks him to be in this game. I'm expecting a huge day for him and to get him going early. I think if Ohio State utilizes their talent on the wings, on the outside perimeter, Penn State's not going to be able to hold them in this game. I think if it is a slow, methodical game, that more favors Penn State because they are the better driving team overall in this game. But Ohio State should win this one by at least 2 touchdowns. They are the team that we think they are. And this is the game we're here to prove it. So we're going to see. I got some Ohio State fans that are my neighbors. I got one of my best friends who's an Ohio State fan. They're talking crazy about this game right here and how they hyped up they are. So we're going to see what they're going to put on performance in this game. I got Ohio State winning this one by at least 2 touchdowns. Do not let me down, Ohio State Buckeyes. Do not let me down.
Hey, I think that's really fair, man. And we didn't really talk much about coaching. I think James Franklin is a phenomenal football coach. He gets more out of less. He did it at Vanderbilt. He's been doing it at Penn State. The problem is he doesn't have enough talent. He's a great coach. And I think Ryan Day is also a really good coach. I would give the coaching edge to Franklin. But if a game-winning play is needed to win the game, I'm going to trust McCord, who delivered against Notre Dame on the road. If it comes down to a 2-minute drill, I'm trusting Ryan Day and McCord, right? So it's just all the intangibles for me are leaning toward Columbus, and again, the game's at home. But I want to see Penn State come out and make this a game. You know, I want to see truly where Ohio State's flaws really are, because those flaws are going to end up being exposed later in the season. So Penn State has a number of things that they're trying to accomplish in this game outside of just winning it. So it's going to be interesting. But again, like I said, Ohio State's going to be too much. But it's going to be a very, very entertaining game to watch. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think one of the biggest aspects that's not talked about in this game is Drew Allard for Penn State, the quarterback for Penn State. But I think that I really want to see what he's built about. People are really talking about him as how, you know, his NFL stock is rising this season. He's really talking about he was a well-rounded quarterback. I haven't watched truly enough of him to say whether he's great or not, but I'm right there with you. I think the quarterback battle is something that's underrated right here because it's not two Heisman contender quarterbacks. These quarterbacks are really right there. It's really who could be the better game manager and make the big play when needed. Like I said, like you said, Sean, the intangibles are favoring towards Ohio State, and I think it is a huge hill to climb for Penn State. I think they got the team to do it, but it's a big climb for them.
Yep.
Yeah, should definitely be an interesting game. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Leave your comments. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We'll get to y'all this weekend. It should be an interesting one. Hey, and we'll catch y'all next time.